What is up? Good morning. Good morning. Check, 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 check. Testing. Uh-oh. Think I'm good. Holy jeez. Happy Monday. Is it Monday? Connie. Hilarious. Miss Cleo. Dude, you guys are already, George in the house. What's up, man? You guys are already shooting a bunch of tickers out. Like, I can't believe it. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Ooh, I think the requested doc is now pinned. Happy Monday. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Hope you had a good time. I did, for sure. But we are coconut juice on tap. You know, where'd it go? This coconut juice on. Should I? Oh, did you see that? You can see it. I don't know. I was told, Vita Coco. I was told that there's a cold pressed version that's supposed to be a lot better. Probably try it out. But I like the chart of this cocoa. That's for sure. Should we drink it? I don't know. All right, boys and girls. So we got a lot to get through. Welcome, by the way, to the stream. I think that's enough. We got a handful of peeps in the house. By the way, share it, whatever you need to do. Like the video. Appreciate all your support. What we do here every Monday is really we just kind of go over what happened last week. What do we have to look forward to this week? What are the major market moving events that are going to affect us this coming week? And right now there's actually a handful. When I first looked at the calendar, I'm like, it's not that bad. There's not a whole lot on there, but then I'm like, ooh, you know what? We definitely have some serious events. Great draft picks, by the way. Okay, so I got a bunch of comments. I did this stock draft Saturday night. I believe it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday night with a handful of friends. If you guys don't know. And I'm like, you know what? Most people have no idea what a lot of these stocks are that I could have picked. And I'm going to do a video. I'll just record it and then post it later, but explaining the logic and like the thesis in general. And really how I came to each one of those names so that you guys can have an idea of what the thesis is and you're not kind of just guessing. But just know I was not just slapping a bunch of tickers together. I think for people that don't know the stocks or like really me, it probably can look on the outset like this dude just picked 12 stocks, the same 12 stocks like multiple times over. Like, yeah. So I think it deserves some serious explanation as to what. And Steve did, in fact, I'm just letting you guys know. The guys were like scheming against me. I don't know what's going on. We were given a list. There was rules. There's an entire document, like a multiple page document of the rules. I think it was like 3 pages, maybe more. Word document. The guy likes to write. All looked seemingly thought out. And of course there was the biggest thing was, one, there were steals. We were supposed to have steals, like, which kind of changed your pick selections. And then that got nixed probably like, I don't know, 2 days before the draft. I'm like, okay, that's going to change some strategy. And it was explicitly the Russell 1000, which, I have a lot of stocks. I know like a lot of stocks, most of which I'd say half that I wanted were not in the Russell 1000. So I had to go like find the replacements and like backup replacements of the backup, which took, I don't know, 10 million tokens, maybe 20 million tokens. But yeah, man. And then 30 minutes or an hour before the draft, it's like, we're going to add the most, we're going to add the most frequently traded or the highest volume tickers. I'm like, what? We added another 200 names. And I'm like, I don't even have time to scan this. By the time I saw it, I had like 30 minutes left. And I'm like, oh my goodness, before our pre-meeting. And then live in the picks, they're not even going on either one of the lists. And people are approved. And I'm like, dude, can I pick something? Like, and I shot out like a handful of names and like, nope. The funniest comment was from Tanner when he picked ASML. I got to give this to this guy. Funniest moment. He picks ASML. I'm like, it's not on any of the lists. I'm like, how does Tanner get ASML? And he goes, dude, ASML has been in this draft longer than you have. Like, bro, it's all good. Yeah, I mean, maybe I went too safe, but again, I'll explain it later on. I think if you, it should make sense. But there was only so many stocks, and honestly, most of it was like, I need stuff that can a minimum double, if not triple plus. And Steve was like, not happening this year. I'm like, I think it could happen. If only I was allowed to take my rack space, right? If only. You know, I probably should have taken Sienna, but it's all good. All right, guys. I'm ready to roll if you're ready to roll. Let's do this. So, welcome, if you are new to the show. What we do here every Monday, as long as the market's open, is go through basically the catalyst of what happened last week, what's moving the market today, what are the themes, what's going on, what do we have to watch out for, and are there any traps? And all I can say is today or this week, maybe some traps. We'll have to see, but this is going to be probably one of AI's biggest tests this week. Micron earnings. I think that's the biggest thing, right? This guy is flying high. Micron is going to affect the entire cohort of stocks, memory stocks. It's going to be, and basically everything, really. So Micron, oddly enough, maybe not odd, but Micron becomes one of the most important stocks in the market right now. From a momentum perspective, more important than Nvidia, period. From a momentum perspective. And this is like the full AI trade, right? The thesis. I don't think it's just going to be Micron itself. I think the entire cohort, like the stock draft, everybody's going to be made. It's going to be make or break, like out of the gate. It's going to be so funny. The second part is Qualcomm, which was one of my picks. Finally, I got it. But they have their investor day this week. And this is going to be a massive moment for them. It is heavily anticipated. We'll talk about it more in a little bit. And then we have a lot of rebalancing across all the indexes. So we have I think it's Marvell and someone else coming. You know what? Let's just go here. There it is, right? Marvell and Flextronics. I believe it's Flextronics being added to the S&P 500. Actually, really good name here. When all-time highs? Are we not at all-time highs? I guess it depends on what index you're looking at. That's true. Russell 2000, I'm positive, is at all-time highs. But the gist is this, right? It's still the macro wall, which is PCE and things like that. We have a lot of rebalancing happening this week. Astera Labs, CoreWeave, Nebius, Rocket Lab, Teradyne, great company, very expensive, all going into the NASDAQ 100, NDX. And then I believe later this week, also, the end of the week, we also get the Russell rebalance. So all the Russell gets rebalanced. Oddly enough, the Russell 1000 as well as the Russell 2000 both get rebalanced, right? And so in that rebalance, you get a lot of this passive flow, capex, semis, storage, networking, essentially all of them. You see this broad kind of melt up on a very small cohort of names. But again, Micron earnings this Wednesday. This is going to affect everybody, pretty much everybody. So, you know what? This is why I'm going to do a video. So I will do another video. The whole format, I'm like, most of the time we were given a 1 minute timer, and most of my 1 minute was spent deciding on what ticker because of anyways. So the reason I will do it, I'm going to walk through each ticker and then connect the dots across the board as to why. I'll probably give you guys some choices that were not on the board that I would have preferred, and the logic behind all of them, because I feel like I owe everybody an explanation of why was Cadence the first pick. Why did I say it was, one of one? I think that's super important. So not today, because we got some other stuff. And yeah, man, Synaptics. I don't know how many times did I bring up Synaptics? At least 10 times. I don't know. Someone can pull the transcripts. Totally ignored. All good though. But yeah, so that's what we have. We have Micron earnings Wednesday. I forgot the date for the Qualcomm event. We'll talk about that. I can't believe I didn't put that. Qualcomm. So the Qualcomm event is specifically for its AI, right? And right now, Qualcomm is, I want to say that it's rated like a cell phone company. Definitely most people think of it like a phone chip company. It's getting quite a bit of a extra pump right now in terms of PE expansion, which is what I'm talking about, the build up into this event this week. But they're slated to basically talk about how they're transforming this company, and broadly speaking, a re-rate in general, which is what we're seeing. A lot of these moves, excuse me, like you look at Intel, you look at Marvell, this was like $20, $40 not too long ago. This was like $80 not that long ago. It's not just that, all this, it's not like these companies all of a sudden changed what they were doing. They didn't. The thing is that like the market waits for stuff to be ready and they want to see whatever, but specifically Marvell, they've been talking about this custom silicon thing for well over a year, and the market didn't care. Qualcomm comes around and starts talking about something similarly transformative for that company, and that is that's to become a data center play, because they're just definitively not a data center play. And that if that happens well for them, if they can pull it off, that one product line could possibly be equal to their entire business right now, if they do well. And they have the sauce. It's more about a question on execution. The thing about Qualcomm is that they're getting a lot of benefit up front. So I don't know if it's going to be a sell the news event or not. But I do know that they're working towards this, and from the edge in terms of like, your network connected devices, whether it's a phone, camera, car, they have a very big install base, uniquely positioned to capture that AI on device as well. And if they can have a data center product that talks to their native AI on device chips, that gives them like a pairing that is literally unmatched. So That's what's up with the Qualcomm. That said, you would have thought with no deal over the weekend, we might have been real red. We were not, again, because no matter what happens to me, there's no stopping. There's no stopping this AI build out. It's literally do or die for the companies involved in building it. Whether or not those companies get rewarded from a stock price perspective right now, different question. But if they do not build, they will die. And so they all know that. So they do not have a choice. Qatar LNG issue, kind of interesting. But definitely, look, there was a deal also. I think what was the deal? It was like CVX, Microsoft, forgot who it was, but yeah, gas energy volatility is still a thing. It's not a massive escalation yet, but look, market's still climbing. Does not affect the AI build out. If anything, for nat gas, we have a ton of it, so we'll probably be okay. And then later on this week, on Thursday, I think it is, Thursday, we get mostly PCE and GDP. And these are going to be the biggest macro things. Friday's the Russell rebalance. So sorry. So Micron earnings, Thursday, GDP and PCE, the rebalancing, reconstitutions. We got all kinds of stuff, but these are the major things on deck that should move the markets. Any oil headlines are still going to be there. I don't think that trade goes away at all. And this is what the calendar actually looks like. By the way, there's a bank. I was just looking at the calendar. Apparently, banks were having their stress test, which is maybe why they're doing so well. QNT making new highs. Look at this. Dude, Synaptics is like, yeah, I think that could be that's also a robotics play. So IoT, all that stuff, which you will start hearing more and more is like, that's where the next build is coming, not necessarily at the data centers. Ooh, I didn't take some screenshots of a couple other things. So let me do this. Let me pull. There we go. I'll go to Earnings Hub, pull the calendar just to double check. What do we have on deck? Calendar. Yep. Really not a lot. Just Micron, unless somebody's in, FedEx, Carnival. I think Chris took Carnival. Dude, BlackBerry. I don't know what's going on with this stock, but BlackBerry has been kind of crazy also. Yeah, nothing crazy here. And I'll get you the calendar. But so this week, again, nothing major here. ADP weekly, money supply maybe. Tuesday's essentially nothing day. You get PMI, which is important. Wednesday, mortgage rates, new home sales. The market's been mostly like numb to any new home sales data. But Thursday is the big day from a macro perspective. So Thursday we get PCE and we get GDP. So these two things, in PCE is inflation and GDP is growth. This is essentially the U.S. The U.S. is earnings report, basically. This is the final. It should not be final numbers. Don't really move markets that much because we get 3 looks at GDP. It's the next one that might move a little bit, but looks like consensus is at 0.6 coming off of 0.5. That's not bad. Yeah, we were slowly growing. PCE, we'll have to see how this goes. That's how PCE is different than CPI. CPI is the inflation rate that we're receiving or getting. PC is personal consumption expenditures. This is actually how much people are spending. So if we spend less, which is this little graph, even if the goods cost more, we shouldn't see a whole lot of inflation if people are actually spending less. But that's also not good for growth. But so that's the kind of like the balance that they're going through. Friday, really nothing. Goods and trades balances, consumer sentiment, not a big deal. Let me just make sure I don't have. Oh, and I did have. I haven't tracked this in a while, but the last I think we got 29 out of the Dow 30. So of the top 30 companies that report, really the only one here that's didn't meet their own stated numbers, Amazon. Everybody is beating. Everything is good. Holy crap, Sienna is running. I knew I should have taken that. It was a beautiful pullback. Actually, I don't know that it's running yet. But she's not going down anymore. If somebody doesn't have that in the, that's the one to pick. But before we get in the charts, boys and girls, you know what we got to do is we have to check in with our friend Miss Cleo. If you don't like this part of the show, sorry, doesn't matter. Turn away for give us 5 minutes, maybe less. But you know, she's been on a bit of a hot streak. I don't even remember how she did last week or not, quite frankly. But she gives us a different lens to view the market from. And, you know, if you thought the T and TA stood for technical analysis, you would be wrong because, in fact, it actually stands for tarot, which is the reading that she gives us. So without further ado, boys and girls, let's see what she had to say. All right. Here it is in all its glory. I actually have not looked at it at all. It's not bad. It is not bad. Turn around Tuesday, Wednesday, hopefully. I mean, are you down? Am I down? I don't think I'm down. Come on. We got to pull it up. Everything kind of gapped. A lot of stuff gapped. Well, Sammy's gapped up. But the way this works is we get a theme card for the week. And then every day of the week, we have a card for the day. So the week's theme, I don't know what this means. No, the Knight of Cups. And then, well, okay. So this, if you're in software, maybe feels like this. I remember last week, there was the guy that was like walking. Do you remember? He was like, he had a bunch of sticks and he was like walking away from a battlefield. Like, so clearly this guy is the same guy. He's out of the battle because he's got a little bandage on his head here. And he's built it seems to me that he's built a wall. So maybe support, probably support. The defenses hold, maybe. And then the queen comes tomorrow. No clue. I don't know. No idea. She got a little black cat, a sunflower. I don't know who walks around with a sunflower. That's just weird. But she's probably coming to inspect the defenses that our guy here built because she's the queen of the sticks. And then whoever this person is, 10 of Pentacles. This means gold. It's a lot of yellow. I'm seeing a lot of yellow here. Maybe she's saying we take a trade on gold. I don't know. I'm getting the vibe. A lot of yellow and coins and some grapes. Honestly, it looks like a beautiful day outside. What is that, a hawk? Birds flying around, swimming in my coins. And then the cups come. It seems to me that the party is ended here. What is this, Thursday? It seems to me that Thursday the party ends and we are leaving the party with all the cups stacked. And it doesn't, I can't see if we're holding any riches. I don't know. Oh, and maybe we get captured on Friday. I don't know. So, you know, it is what it is. That's the reading. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go ahead and see what she has to say, as I have no idea how to interpret this. So the theme card is the King of Cups, the Knight of Cups. Sorry, the Knight of Cups is an emotional cup bearer that loves to show off and gets distracted by romance. Okay. So let's not get distracted by romance. He rarely appears as a theme card, but when drawn as a daily, he manifests as a slow and choppy day. Therefore, I'm expecting a bit of a choppy week for the stock market, at least on the indices. Singles may still show. Yeah, that means individuals. Monday, 9 of Wands. That's today. We go from 10 of Wands. See, I knew we were. Yeah, I knew we were the same wand, the same stick guy, right? Suggest a step backwards. Well, I mean, if you're software, wands bring impulsivity and large swings to trick players. So it's a trap, you say. Miss Cleo's calling trap into an early exit. I expect a strong showing. Space mob. Just saying. Cleo's calling a trap. I don't know. Expect a strong showing with a medium to large trend. You can chase it for the day, but that is it. We may be reversing from a 10, but 9s are still close to the edge. Yeah, support. Queen of Wands tomorrow, 10-9 Queen, should bring us back in the direction of last Thursday. Last Thursday, I have no idea what last Thursday is. I'll have to look at whatever. More wands bring more whipsaws, but greater power due to the Queen's strong energy Tuesday. I mean, it sounds like she's calling Trend Day Tuesday. Oh, yeah, trend likely in case you can chase it for the duration of the day. Obviously, she's a day trader. 9 of Pentacles Wednesday. The 9 of Pentacles, strong card for financial security. Oh yeah. Is this the one where we are? Hey man, rolling dice. I don't know. They call it male astrology, which is why we do this bit, because you know what? Let's see how the astrology actually works. But earned with wealth rather than strong card for security, but it represents earned wealth rather than earning of it. Earned wealth rather than the earning of it. Okay. I expect dips to be bought today, which hopefully aligns with continuation from Tuesday. Just smaller. 8 of Cups for Thursday. 10-9 Queen. 9 8. This likely puts us back in the direction of Monday, especially if it closes red. Micron is after the close on Wednesday. So maybe up, down, flat, which would be a hangman candle actually on a week. This has a high chance of trending red. So unless there's an obvious bull energy on display, I would lean into selling rallies rather than chasing dips. Friday hangman, direction is murky. Shouldn't matter though. Expect a choppy day. Take it off. Take the week off. Whatever. The kind designed to burn everyone's expiring options. Therefore, take profits on any short-term trade before Friday and consider selling options here instead of buying them. Flat close or thereabouts. She's straight up calling a flat close. All right. Recap. This week seems simple enough, but it's easy to say that before the bell. Yeah. There should be a lot of big energy this week, along with some wild swings. Friday looks like an off day. Well, there you have it. That is what she's saying. Not too shabby in general. Let's go ahead and take a look. So on my screen, you guys can see the S&P 500 index. Let me just do it this way. See if I can make this a little bit bigger for you. Why is this so? It's this, isn't it? Yes, that should be better. All right, so I have a couple things. So one, I have extensions. So this right here from this range, just so you guys see it, from this recent high to this recent low, there's a range that goes from 760 all-time high, 721. That puts us spot on in what we would call the bear zone. Technically, meaning where the bears live, because if this is going to retrace like this, realistically, this should be where the resistance is. But if we can hold over this whole area, which is like 740 from a technical perspective. Honestly, right here, right now, this is actually a pretty solid pullback. If we hold over 746, it's all good from that perspective. We do want to be careful though. If I just take all of these lines off, what's glaringly obvious to most pattern traders is this kind of like head and shoulders. Do I follow these things? No. Do you want to know generally what people see to kind of understand what they're anticipating? Yes. But if you're a pattern, if you have traders out there that are like pattern traders, usually you're looking for what we call like the neckline. And so that's right over here. That kind of puts this area, actually, this is probably better. Like literally this guy. That kind of puts most of those type of pattern traders in this area of like, this actually becomes a head and shoulders if and only if we're trading below this 730 and honestly below this. So what you don't want to see from a price action perspective is you don't want to see price like break down this way. Then you might feel good bounce up, but it's this type of rejection that would show up right here that would be more important to avoid. And if you do get that below the 730 after breaching this low in here, then cool. You know, maybe the party's over for a while, but it's, man, that Sienna chart that I just said is not stopping. This is a bearish pattern, but the most bullish setups, honestly, are when the bearish patterns fail, because people get very offsides if they think, especially if they think that, oh, this could be something that's going to do this. They get offsides, like right about here around the 740 area, right exactly where we are. And if that doesn't happen, say something like a Micron or whatever rips the market higher, anybody that was positioning short, hedging, whatever for this type of move has to immediately cover, which means buy, which means go long, which means market go up. And so that's the scenario. That's why you know what they are, but you don't, the patterns, but you don't assume that they're always going to work out. All right. That said, I think we have a couple other things to look at. And really, no drawings by me. The range that we are stuck in definitively, aside from anything else that you want to call it, is the truth. And the truth is what we call like non-farm payrolls, right? And so this moment in time, again, we are smack dab in the middle. I'm just going to change these so you can see it a little bit more. But Friday's print here, this candle is our non-farm payroll day. This is a fundamental event that creates a technical level. Quite frankly, we are dead center of the range. So even if we went down a little bit, I have no reason that this is going to go lower. I am very adamant that, look, we can chop here, we can do that, we can do this, we can do that. And I expect us, if we do not extend over here, I expect us to go down towards the bottom end of this range, honestly. And you should as well. Same thing. You get over here, you expect to go down towards the bottom of the range. But conversely, if we cannot start getting opens and closes below this number is 735, expect that we do this in very short order as well. This entire range from 755 to 735, it's 20 points on S&P. That range, the market should be able to traverse the length of that within 24 to 36 hours. And honestly, you'll see it. You've already seen it. So 1, 2, 3 trading sessions fully. Also from here, you basically have 1, 2 trading sessions up that 20 points here. You have 1, 2 trading sessions that gets very close to. It's a big range. So I guess to Miss Cleo's point, don't get whipped out. It can be a bit crazy. So that's where we are. I think if what's important to note too is like when you look across the board, QQQ is one index, right? Very close to the highs. This one here, I have a signal to go long. I I actually do. So this is the range from Friday. I have 1, 2, 3 days closing above. We should be good. 2 days back, nearly back to back. As long as we're over this 732 on QQQ, I don't think there's any reason to go short. So that's one read. That's a clean read. IWM, look, if we're in a bear market, do you guys, and we're possibly looking at rate cuts, or I'm sorry, rate hikes, would IWM, the most rate sensitive index in the group, be making all-time highs? No, it really wouldn't be. Is it fake? I don't know. But like no matter what the Fed said last week or whatever, just know that this doesn't happen if the market participants actually think that we're gonna get rate hikes. It's just not gonna happen. Or they just don't think it's gonna happen. Diamonds here, this is the industrials. This was actually a strong index last week. Today I have the first invalidation. So my point here is that I'm getting mixed signals. And so from SPY's perspective, I think that lends to a lot of chop. If Micron can continue through Wednesday, we should have some continuation. And we definitely don't see the Russell at all-time highs if the market actually believes that we're going to get rate hikes. So nobody believes that we're going to get rate hikes in the market right now. And if they do, whatever is moving in the Russell, which I have an idea, they just don't care about. Like, don't think that it's going to be affected. SMH also all-time high today. There you are. I think what you're realistically seeing in all its glory right now is not just your basic semis. I have no idea what Nvidia is doing today. I would assume it's not doing a whole lot. I might be wrong. I think Broadcom is down a little bit. What's up? We're seeing a broadening, not in the index itself, but like in the semi trade itself. And we could talk a little bit more about that as we go. You know what? I will do that. I'll cover that mostly in my recap video for my stock draft pick. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get into some picks. I don't know why you guys got 10 picks for Palantir. 11. This was a liquid death. This was they call it a dead billionaire. It is Arnold Palmer. Tea and lemonade. Not bad. Not bad. But all right. Per the requests, we're going Palantir. You know, this is defense and software. I think aerospace and defense specifically not doing good today. It's a bad day. Just a day. One day doesn't make a trend. Although this one day does break structure. So that's the bigger concern. Oh, you know what? It doesn't. Hang on. This is price discovery mode. Oh, we're about to go back into price discovery, boys and girls. That's crazy. So my issue here, in terms of if you're going to call a direction, I cannot. I can call a range, but it's slightly. See how this is a slightly higher high here to here, slightly, but also this is a series of lower lows. Quite frankly, this is a series of higher highs. We have 3 higher highs and 3 lower lows back to back to back. It's a very nuanced thing when it happens, but when it happens, it is the market going into a price discovery mode. It's an inflection point. You might hear people talk about support and resistance like they're hard lines in the sand. The truth is that they're not. So I would not treat this like a hard line in the sand. Oh, it's broken support. I would not. I think this is probably exactly what Miss Cleo's talking about. You have support a little bit deeper for sure, but this could be setting up for liquid, we call liquidity grab, where anybody that had stops essentially right in this area here, or maybe here. See this big candle? That was Friday's low in the morning. Literally at that 125 point, this is like all right, we start to flush. But are we continuing? Not yet. I feel like this best case scenario, and my level is 114. Best case scenario for Palantir is to open red tomorrow and close green. And then you would probably get somewhere in this larger vicinity to touch, to actually get this. But this now goes away. We then have we have a broadening formation, which goes more into price discovery mode. What this is, these two lines right here, actually taking from the all-time high 220 whatever post market and the all-time from inception lows, that gets you this range, which yes, it's wide, but it's a range from 114 down to looks like about 81. In this $81 space, this is what we would call like the golden pocket, the pristine edge type entry, which is quite a ways away. This is not happening here at all, by the way, unless we're below 115. So what this is it's from inception low to inception high, like to all-time high. This is what they call like the golden zone. It's just a tactical retracement. Typically after a big move, a lot of things will retrace about 50%. This 114.50, 114.15 is literally exactly 50%. It's a big edge. No, not really. But it is a spot that a lot of people will watch. I have some inflection points over here, nothing major. What I will say is that if you're below 114, this move becomes nearly a foregone conclusion. So you don't want to lose that 114, because when you lose that 50% mark, you have more like a 70 to 80% probability of making this bigger downside move, which doesn't happen that often. My point here is that this is the line around right around here. You know, would I treat it like a hard line in the sand? No, I would treat this right now more like a trampoline. Like you're on support. You got to see some more stuff. Like you're bouncing, and this could be like a beach ball that gets held underwater, and then you let it go and it goes whoosh. We don't know, right? So just be careful. The biggest thing, broken support, is like you are jumping on a trampoline and the canvas breaks and you just literally fall on the ground. That's what that looks like. And that would be down to the 80s. But until we get that, you're closer to support than not right now. So I do not hate it. But just know also, this is if it is heavily defense, I think that this quarter is the quarter that you do buy defense, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be a good quarter for them. It would be gearing up for more of a Q3, Q4 move. What is ASTS? Same story, right? Ooh, hold on. You're on it. See this 72.50? This is like the structural break. There was, I don't know why that said stop. This should be a session gap. This one is tight. So there's a inflection point, about 73.5 on the stock that has happened a couple times in the past. I don't have a structural break here, so this is still okay. Again, it's more like support the trampoline, not support the hard line in the sand. So this is the last low. As long as we hold this general area, which by the way is quite a ways away, that's structurally okay. usually if I want to be snipey, there are two other, let's just do it this way. This is the last low. There are two other spots, and I don't want to predict here, but just as an aside, these are areas where the stock chart has had buyers in the past, and we are literally seeing that right now as of this morning. Does that mean it's a low? No. The buyers who bought it here on earnings before, what I can say is they didn't stick around. They sold it, right? There's a big structural gap up here at 130 still. If you believe in pure technicals, that has a possibility still to fill. And if you're a pattern trader, this could start to set you up as a more bullish pattern. So no, I don't hate this at all. This is, yeah, we have a higher high. It's still technically in consolidation, but it's not bad at all. Plus, if I do from this last breakout area on ASTS, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be okay on this. Yeah, you're literally right there. So the bottom of support, closer to support than not. I think it's more important to see what is the reaction moving forward. Do you actually see real buyers stepping in? Is it SpaceX sucking the life out of the rest of the wowzers? SpaceX has given it all back. I mean, we did say 189. If you're trading this, that would have been perfect. Perfect right there. But yeah, you can do technicals on SpaceX already. This, though, I will say right now, right here, right now, that is support on the SpaceX 163.15. Near term, if that gets lost, I know this was not on the ticker, it's 149.80. And ultimately 133 if that is gone. I'm getting some red tickers. Kratos. Same theme. I have got my eyes on this. This is literally support right here. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at them across the bow, right? Yeah, I think Kratos, you're going to have earnings at the end of this month. We're about 2 weeks or about a week and a half away from. They did say, hey, look, this Q2 coming is not going to be the best one, but they were very explicit about from there, the business is going to ramp. And I think that's why, February, you see this big kind of reversal here. We're through Wednesday, May, this one. I think the next one should essentially be the low, but that means to me that you want to buying in here. So equity wise, I think you take the shot. And you could take a cheapy flyer for options if you don't want to commit as much capital to risk less to make the same essentially. But again, another one that it's from inception low or from all-time lows down here to all-time highs, literally right here, right now. This is the primary support area. If you lose this in strength, yeah, we're gonna see 30s, like the mid to low 30s. That's just how it is. But from right now, this is where you start to build a position, or at least speculate if you like this stuff. Resistance is 71.50. So it's got to get through 56. Sorry, I'll just round. It's got to get through 57. Then you got to get to 71.50. And you have realistically this whole area that's your resistance up here that comes from all of these old buyers here that may not have gotten out in the big, whatever you want to call this. So just know, yes, this looks like bounce. This looks like it's going to be a process. It looks like more counter trend bounce. You could see this I mean, hey, from $50 to $90, that's a good trade. But I don't think it would necessarily take that long for this to happen. Oops, I don't want that one. I think this is the box that Kratos is going to live in for a little bit. If it gets over its skis, that's probably a little aggressive. But this is literally the spot where, yeah, you whether it's here, any of this doesn't matter. But your time horizon has to be 6 months or a small, short little pop into earnings. If this does somehow get over 90, it's back to all-time highs, and that's just happening. But we are not there yet. Corning, good day. What do you want to know? How great of a stock is she? It's the greatest. Channel up, channel up. That's what happens. We had this is a 4-hour chart. This is I'll just go weekly. She looks great. She consolidated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Is trying to get out of this 7-week consolidation right now. 7 weeks is these guys right here. Opening clean above last week's range and extending into last month's high, which is right here. That high of last month, by the way, we're literally coming into it right now, 211.58. So if Corning can retain 211.58, which is this area here, if they can hold above that 7-week consolidation that I kind of outlined before becomes a breakout zone. It might get a little bit overheated because now it's going to be, now it's starting to get out of its channel right now, which is fine. But I'll just give you, we're not in a retracement. This is big extension from that .com boom era breakthrough at 113. This chart starts to look like, it starts to quickly look like Intel. But 186 last week right here was that extension support. Again, we're just coming out of it. Funny how this happens. So all of this was that support to keep momentum going. We should see 225 from here. If we extend through 225, the next rung on this ladder from a momentum perspective is just underneath 300. So call it mid 280s. Beyond all expectations right now is 330s. But again, that is beyond expectations. I mean, this is a chart where you'd want to be patient on it, but look, it works. So if we get beyond like the 235 type level, can't hold it as a run up into. There's a lot of stuff going for this stock right now. Yeah, I don't think you want to miss the train. At least pay attention, monitor. Maybe you get a pullback later. You just missed one. So, you know, this was like 170s a couple days ago. 21% in 5 days. And yet, dude, I hate this. And yet 21% in 5 days, the stock is essentially flat for a while. Has not actually made a move yet. Synaptics is multifaceted. Synaptics is a client side edge. To me, we should be heading into the 170s very near term. That's the trajectory here. This is a big time turnaround. There's no question that this is a turnaround story on this stock. You have earnings coming. I mean, the market knew it was turning around, but it didn't materialize mid-February. Bottomed in late last year, and the whole industry has this is IoT industry, holds client side edge bottoms late last year and is just now starting to make a real run. And so I this can be 170, 200. probably even before earnings, which it's a $5 billion market cap, 5.5. They have some products that they're working on that put them in the robotics scene as well. Those are more like free call options, but just know you have these two areas, 170 spot 59 from here. That's your 50% range that kind of matches up with this breakdown area. So that in the future will be resistance all the way up to that round $200 level. If Synaptics is over like 215, 220, this becomes like a $400 stock again. Not again, it was never there before, but it gets trajectory to C400s. That would have to be the robotic story playing out, because again, it's historically low margin business, not shiny. The industry as a whole definitely bottomed, but what we're seeing with AI on device is that the companies that produce these kind of chips and things like that, they're making a lot more money. So that is that. Broadcom. I mean, Broadcom. Yeah. Oh, I had this kind of for our group. This was like these are a bunch of pictures that I put there as like how I saw it happening. Yeah, you're at 395. What do you want to know? Broadcom looks fine. Broadcom looks fine for now. No reason to panic. It just wasn't its day. If you think that, this coming into this type of inflection point right here at 411 wasn't going to create this type of move, you're smoking the good stuff. You should have seen that one. But if you didn't, it's all good. What this here is, this is just a measurement really quick from that high to this recent low, extreme high to extreme low. Literally right here, 430s, mid 430s, that's your next resistance. Broadcom's not out of the weeds until it's well over 450, 60, something like that. Then yeah, you're out of the weeds. But until then, it's going to be like this up and down kind of chop fest. Support is 360s. It really is. What you'd like to see from here is you'd like to see this series of higher highs and higher lows continue from that 360 low off the 200-day, which is this red line right over here. Right now, you got to pull back, right? And so it can pull back. Think about it this way. If this was coming into, this was a series of lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then all of a sudden you get like a equal high, but then you also get a higher low. You get a gap up and that creates a higher high. Then you pull it back and you actually create a higher low. And this guy is in fact higher high that goes through. If this is the last low right here, 378, Broadcom can come as low as 378 and still have a fighting shot at this, which I would probably expect if it loses 394, that's what's happening. But it doesn't. That's a very short. This is the difference between a day trade and a swing trade. That's a very short-term trade that happens 24 to 36 hours and stops. And then from there, you can see a bounce. And the thing is the next bounce, if this locks, let's assume it locks a higher low, which realistically can be anywhere in here. What you want to see is that next high make a new high. And that next push should be into the 430s. And as long as it does that, then you're on the mend and you're still going to get another big pullback from there. You're not going straight up. You're going to get a big pullback from there. And it should align with this area. But, technically speaking, if the low goes this low, it could still, in that case, also be as low as something in here. But just make note of where the last highs and the lows are and just keep that structure count at hand. And just know this is in the process of recovering, but it's a process. It's not an event. I don't think you really want an event anyways. So it is a process. Amazon. 200-day simple. This should see 225 at this point. So yeah, this one, you're below the prior all-time high. This is setting up like an AMD pre-explosion. Look, this was an inflection point, 240s. It's the first shot, second shot. Honestly, this is more of like if I was saying, how does a Head and Shoulders actually show up? This is more like it right here. That's legit one. Whatever. But the way that would play out is like, okay, if this is your neckline, first of all, that's 233, happens to be on the 200-day simple. You're not gonna fire off unless you're opening tomorrow below the 200. And in that case, don't buy this today. This is not a buy today. Tomorrow, this should literally double that push downside and be sub 220, maybe down to 225s, which then I would say probably take a shot. Another instance of open red, close green would be best case scenario here. By the way, this is that prior like inflection point. If Amazon were to do something like this, retest this area and actually start to recover, that's going to be a picture perfect break retest from a trend perspective. Also, massive liquidity in here. A lot of buyers in the past, It's a wider range, which is why I'd say in this one, you could day trade if you want to, but I would, if you're looking to actually buy stuff, I would just wait to the close and not worry about getting if you're actually looking to buy something like this to invest on, actually, you shouldn't care about the price. And you should just do it down there if you happen to see it down there. This is not the one I'm looking for. If I were to do one more confirmation from this low to this high, yeah, Amazon looks like she's about to get violent. Yeah, I have it. That's it's right in here, and I have like fair value. Yeah, just chill. 220s. Let that one breach. This red line is a 200-day simple moving average. It's not about that. When it breaks, this is going to be a violent downside. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it, though. It was not in an uptrend anyways since sub 250. So this is DCA candidate, I suppose. All right. How do I have 2 pages of requests? CoreWeave, Iren. These are like the same company, more or less, but not. Iren's to 53. It is not going higher right now. It hit its head once again. You want to check for like dilution and stuff like that. Is that resistance? It's got to come down to support, which is lower. It's like 50s. Coming in hot. Yeah, this has to hold over 70. $80 is like, you're probably going to see $80 at some point in time. In this situation, it's more of a question about how long you see it for, and is it even in the open market, or is it just an after hours little wick like this? Because yeah, it'll probably see 180. Doesn't mean you're going to have an opportunity to exit 180 or have an exit at 80. But if you're in this here now, I don't think that's really what you would be playing for either. Anyways, I think this is not broken. It's not happening right now. This is just a hold. This is a wait. Your support is down to 40 to 50 to low 50s. and you want to see this again, this needs to come down. It needs to come down to get some more buyers at minimum. Now, if it can't get enough buyers, and that's a different story. But that's what's happening there. crwv. So very same story, like exact same story. So crwv here, NASDAQ 100 inclusion coming. I don't think you act on that. That already got front run here. NASDAQ 100 is a big deal, but the move happens like immediately. And I think it's already done. It's just officially listed on. Anyways, that's like all of this. So from here, it's a different story. 92s become your support here. 103 down to 92. You don't want to see this below 92. If this can hold your resistance, again, 140s, mid 140s to mid 120s, a big range, but this whole thing is a setup for a much longer, so you can kind of see it here a little bit better, a much longer, you have to be patient for something like this to play out. That's a weekly chart. If you're in core, if you're really in it for here, this is an investment kind of thing, which means that you're in for a chop for the next 12 months, probably full of a lot of, highs and lows, good times and bad times. Don't be in core if you're not prepared for that. Yeah, can be a trading vehicle. It is a series of lower highs and lower lows right now, near term there, which means that, the downside could be in it's definitively low 90s. You might even see an 8 handle on it, 8 handle. You don't know. But that should be theoretically it, if it goes. So they're not looking great out there today, huh? Not so hot. I got a Googs. Someone says XYZ. I'll do Akamai. Akamai is just barely filling the gap. So all of this earnings move nearly gone at this point. I like this from an entry perspective. It's a pretty, so this is down to like it's in the 110s, 115, 116. Anything really in here, if you don't own this, this is where you buy it to start. If you didn't start, I mean, I've been buying this higher, actually, to be fair. But this, from a longer perspective, I'll just clean this up a bit. They have like industry changing deals. I'm not going to go too far into it, but net, this is like your channel. Right around this midpoint here, you should actually be seeing some kind of a bounce that should take you like this and trajectories into a never sell hold. This is ktos for internet traffic. It is to the edge. It is security. It is it's a lot of things. Nvidia. No dice on Nvidia. Rejection, hard rejection. This one's coming in hot. Yeah, holds or short near term on Nvidia. Ouch. But to 190s here. I think you basically let this is going to set up like another one of those things like that. You let this breach 200. And I think 190 is probably a decent spot at this point to pick it up. If you can get below 190, good luck. I don't know if you'll see that. But she's not breaking out right now. She could not do it. She's hitting her head right on pretty key pivot. So do not go like jumping in front of this one. Not that it's a big deal. I'll preface that with, if you care about getting a 9% lower entry, then you could potentially give this a little bit to breathe, and you might get that. But this is a more violent, another more violent look That's about the 200-day right here. It should happen pretty quickly, actually. I think that's active tradable. Like in this moment, by the close, this looks like it's going to be a bloodbath. Just saying. This is not the look that you want to see in general, where like you come in and you lock the highs literally in the first few minutes of the day, and you're coming in after lunch right now on the dead lows. This is that kind of setup where people come back from lunch and they're like, oh, any day traders? No, I'm cool. And then you see 200 this week or lower. I would trade this, or I'd sell some like 220 calls. 220 is up here. That's for that, probably like 24, 36 hour kind of like, it ain't going higher right now. And if it does, it's very squeezy, probably not sustainable. Let me get a time check. I get about 1 hour. I got a couple minutes left. Who dropped the A10? That's a money. That should be money. Yeah. Don't worry about A10. Interested with bros. Let me see. This was, nope. So right in resistance also. ttwo. That I don't, yeah. So this is actually at resistance. Looks like it. Hang on. Hold. That's potentially tradable also. This is like all the hype. It's not. Okay, so it's not. This is a watch. This can come down to 220s. 227. If that holds, then that actually shoots back up like this. Believe it or not. So I'd hang on that one. AMD, right at the highs. New all-time high. Every time you get a new all-time high, typically you'll have like a little bit of a pullback. Support is about 500 on this. Nothing wrong with this chart. This is the edge, data center edge. Who's got Ceva? One request for Ceva. Probably one of the more important charts out there. If I could have drafted this, I probably would have. DYOR. Do your own research on La Ceva. Not quite yet. 1, 2, 3. She's building. High and tight. We shall see. Which reminds me of Sienna. Nobody requested this at all. They did a bit of a raise. Price for perfection. Should be a good company. This setting up. 491. Probably an equity trader, not an options trader, but 65 billion market cap, not bad. That's my alarm. I would look at Sienna. There are going to be a lot of these type trades. This is one where all of this, look, maybe the stock got a little hot coming into earnings, and then they raise, they do whatever. Stock gets hit. It goes sideways for, I don't know how many days this is, slightly down to sideways for about 2 weeks, sometimes longer, but ultimately goes back to where it came. I mean, the first like one of these that I was like, oh, it's just obvious is Rambus, which is, again, do your own research. But this is one where like price for perfection. And then it was, 10 days later, it's already recovering, made new all-time highs and kind of holding up here. We'll see on this one. I think I picked this. I know I picked this, but somewhat similar. also where your price for perfection here coming into all that, and then you have earnings pull back, and then like heading into pretty quickly this is actually more safety trade, believe it or not. This is pick and shovel of a pick and shovel of a pick and shovel, but they also have some cool stuff. RXT likely sideways. Oh, you're right there. No. Just let this bad boy breathe. Let this bad boy breathe. You got a 720. I don't hate RXT though. Yeah, it's gonna try. It's gonna try again. What did I get? 1, 2, 3. This is a re-rate story. I don't know, whatever the fourth shot is. That's getting close. High and tight, we call it. Already did Google. Already did AMD. Not gonna do. Okay, I will look at it. I don't know why, unless there's some kind of crazy reason. I don't know why this would be holding in there, but it is. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. Like, you got to have some fundamental reason to get out of this. It's a massive base. It had every reason in the world to do it right here. This was Biddy hitting like all-time highs, whatever, just completely shot. This looks like, dude, sell some $60 calls and hope you don't have to deal with it and you can roll it later. I don't know. Massive overhead resistance, and I'm not seeing a lot of follow through. This can get slapped pretty hard too. This is good. It's a coin flip. The coin flip, man. You get one request on SMCI. Yeah, overhead resistance right into it. Big move. Kabam. Do they have earnings coming soon? This one could follow through later overnight. Oh yeah. So like August 11th. HPE, how'd that do? See the theme. Holding strong open, holding earnings. Crwo. Don't chart Crwo. Don't even look at Crwo. If you want to do something, you do Skyworks, which I probably could have trimmed some options on earlier. Well, Skyworks is buying Crwo right at the 20-day right here. Yeah, I would just let this bad boy breathe. But ultimately, this should like double from here over time. Synopsis. Crdo. SMTC. Oh, my dude. We got super chats? Look at that. So thank you. SMTC, probably one of the best charts of the day. So I like this a lot. I like this. I mentioned this on the stock draft, but I could have. I feel like if I would have picked this, then everyone would have been like, "Oh, this is unfair." Blah 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 blah. And I probably just should have like gone for it. But yeah, this setup is money. This is like analog semiconductor stuff right here. Let me see if I can zoom in. Mixed signal, high-end consumer, enterprise computing, communication. So if you believe in the edge build out, the edge build out, analog mixed signals here is different, and wireless IoT, it hits basically everything. It's in the sweet spot market cap, which is like 15 billion, 10 to 15. Yeah, this could be a banger this year. I mean, like, this could be a really good play this year. It's one of those picks and shovels of the AI edge. Yeah, but the chart looks great. It looks like it's getting ready to gear up for another move. Clearly, how do I How do I pull this down? I zoomed in a little bit much for that. But yeah, this, I own the stock, full disclosure, whatever. 171. If this actually can get through, this is where the bears live. This is the resistance area, like all of this. This is why it's so like a good looking setup. See this here where they sold into it? They sold into it. They have a little bit of a fake out gap up, but ultimately sell into it. I'm not seeing that today. Again, 1, 2, 3. Usually, fourth time is the charm. This should see over 200, closer to that 230 area. Very short order. This is that consolidation here. Just a measured move. If I were to double it, I don't mean 24 hours short order, guys. Not like that. Like 230 would be your full extension. But yeah, you're looking for two folds, two moves. One, first of all, you have to break the high of 187. If you can do that, your extension initially takes you to 215. At that point, expect some consolidation between 215 and around 200 until it ultimately resolves. One more push that may be actually weaker, but into that 230 area. And then you see, right? Like then you can expect this again. But as long as it makes from there, again, a new series of higher highs and higher lows. This is a momentum expansion moment on SMTC. I love this. T1 Energy. Listen, here's the deal. So energy is everything, right? The incremental component, the incremental megawatt, how do the data centers get it? It's not just about the chips. It's not just about the chip supply chain. It's about the whole picture, which this is a great looking chart. I'm not that familiar with this specific company. It is at resistance. Do I think this goes through right now? I do not. So I think you're at resistance. I know that this is a little bit more speculative. I believe, I don't know. The setup looks decent from multiple time frames, quite frankly. I do not mind this at all. It looks like this is about on the actual like listing price, 980. Is this a SPAC? This looks like a SPAC. I mean, it looks like that's a SPAC if I've ever seen a SPAC, special purpose acquisition vehicle SPAC. They all start at the same price. It's like a clean giveaway. Oh, that's right. Solar module. And I think it goes towards the data center or something. There's going to be picks and shovels of this play in general. But yeah, you got to get through 1140. Chart looks like it's going to try. She's going to give it a good old college try. But energy is not a space that you want to sleep in. And you definitely don't want to sleep on like renewable or behind the meter power that I own this stock that is basically helping data centers connect or get power that the grid could not connect them to. Big move on Generac. I honestly, the last I was pissed that I didn't take this one. This one right here, if I rotate, it's going to be one of my first picks. Equal conviction here as the rest. Definitively, this company is doing deals as well. You can look into it, sign deals for this behind the meter power storage. There's two different things. There's behind the meter energy creation, and then you store that energy because you kind of have to do both. Why Cat's doing what it's doing, right? All this stuff that you're seeing. Oh my God. Right now, look at this beauty, thing of beauty. It's full blown extension. Not full, but like it's, yeah, That's juicy. Turbines, anything to do with that. You could research BTM, behind the meter, energy storage and generation. But yeah, this all looks good. It's not just optics. It's, some of those look good. It's multi-layered, multifaceted. Teradyne is one. This is like multi-stack, getting its inclusion today in NASDAQ 100. Very expensive stock, but Teradyne does. I like Teradyne a lot for a lot of reasons. But this has some AI in it. It's got some space in it. It's got a lot of stuff in it. So yeah, it's good. Redwire is doing the same as ASTS and whatever it was, but it is literally right there right now. After having made a higher high, you are on support today. Like these kind of defense names, whether it's Palantir or whatever, I don't know that you have to go for it right now, but I think you could. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But like, this is a high risk, high reward area across the board for all of them. High risk because I don't see the buyers coming in. This is a setup where, like, dude, for all I know, it could gap up. But it's after today. Today's not really an action day. It's after this what happens. Someone say viav. Yeah, viav. Almost picked it. AAOI. All right, I gotta go. Was it AAOI that diluted? No, that's AXTI. AXTI, the substrate. AXTI substrates diluted. We should check on that. Nope, not ready. You're at support 155. If you lose this support, like what should happen, technically speaking, is that you should see a 30% drop to about 100, and then maybe go sideways for a while before going back up on AAOI. High beta, but you're on support. So like I know that sounds like a lot, especially for people that don't know this ticker. 30% is not that much for AAOI. It's relative, but a lot of these are, even Lumentum. This setup here with these SMAs, these are set up for a bit of a pullback. We'll have to see. Crdo with the super chat also, dude. All right, appreciate you guys. 300 is like so this is a breakout. It's been a breakout since 215. Here's your consolidation. First breakout was here. Oops. Right there. And then when you get this little pullback, it kind of just breaches. This is what I mean. Support's not a hard line in the sand, but it does make a higher low. And then whoop, sound effect is crucial. Nothing but a series of higher highs and higher lows. What you want to see is you want to see this hold about 278 right now. And so not really a chase moment necessarily, but man, this thing is going. So I'm zooming in for you right now. These are your levels. Screenshot it, whatever. It's 406, 342, 290s, the mid 290s. 278 is your support. Looks like you have a bit of a session gap in here that created some kind of an inefficiency. So 278 does look like a better place to hold. You do want to see that hold that, and then you could see this happen. Does that have to happen? No. This can just gap up tomorrow, but your next stop is 342, 406, with support being right in this area from this breakout right there in that area. So this looks good. They're making moves. It's like, the bifurcated stock market with the real legitimate bifurcated economy. Some things look great. Some things look like crap. If you're not in the right space, then or the theme of the day, you kind of feel like, dude, what is this? What is this funny market? Like, it's just kind of what it is. There's a lot of catalysts. I'm just telling you, Micron #1, Qualcomm Investor Day #2. Qualcomm Investor Day could kick off this edge, this piece of like AI at the edge and give a lot more clarity to it. What they need to see, what they need to say is they need to define a realistic addressable TAM expansion for them, with real products that are ready to roll, maybe even some signed deals. That would be epic. But I think a lot of that is potentially priced in. So be very cautious, a little bit more cautious than optimistic, but you can be optimistic, do whatever you want, but not financial advice. But yeah, it's a big moment. So it's all good. It's going to be maybe a loud week. My gut is it's a loud week that goes nowhere. You know, you remember that couple weeks ago where it was like, it felt like it took a piece of your soul, but yet at the end of the day, you look backwards and we had gone nowhere. I kind of feel like that's where we're headed. I hate to say that, but yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, love you all. I will see you on the next one. I believe I'm going to check in with our boy Amit tomorrow. So until then, adios.